Something huge just happened, something no one was supposed to see. China has released images of an interstellar object, 3I Atlas, captured from orbit around Mars. But here's the catch. NASA took the same images and hasn't released a single one. They've confirmed they exist, yet the world remains in the dark. Why? What are they keeping from us? This could be the discovery that rewrites what we know about the universe and about who controls the truth. It started quietly, buried in a list of upcoming planetary observations from NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. On October 3, 2025, its high-rise camera was scheduled to capture something new, something unrepeatable, an interstellar object passing close to Mars. Its name was 3I Atlas, only the third confirmed visitor from beyond our solar system. For astronomers, this was history in the making. For NASA, it was a chance to see an alien traveler through the eyes of a machine orbiting another world. That day, both the United States and China were watching. While NASA's HiRISE prepared for its observation sequence, China's Tianwen-1 orbiter was already aligned to track the same trajectory. For several hours, both spacecraft pointed their instruments toward a faint, fast-moving speck racing past the red planet, a fragment of matter that had journeyed for millions of years through interstellar space. What happened next would split the story in two. Tianwen-1's imaging team worked rapidly, processing and releasing their data almost immediately. 302 frames were made public through the China National Space Administration's online archive, low resolution, but undeniably real. The world saw the first ever images of an interstellar object captured from another planet's orbit. But NASA took a different turn. The HiRISE team confirmed that their imaging sequence had succeeded. Internal reports indicated multiple exposures, near-perfect tracking, and data securely transmitted back to Earth. Yet the images never appeared. No public announcement, no release. Only a short message posted quietly on NASA's mission log, observation complete. Data pending review days passed, then weeks. By the end of the month, silence had replaced excitement. Every clue suggested the HiRISE data existed. Technicians at the University of Arizona, which manages the HiRISE camera, confirmed reception. Astronomers tracking the observation window knew that the geometry was ideal, the lighting conditions near perfect. In short, the best view humanity had ever had of something from another star. And yet, no one outside the agency ever saw the results. When asked, NASA spokespeople repeated the same phrase. The images will be released following standard review procedures. But for many, those words sounded less like confirmation and more like containment. Because China's data, though low in detail, had already fueled dozens of independent analyses across the globe. Scientists, amateurs, even students were working with open data, while NASA, the most experienced space agency on the planet, remained silent. The contrast was impossible to ignore. Two countries had pointed cameras at the same cosmic visitor. One shared their findings within days, the other locked them away. And as the days turned into weeks, that silence began to sound like something more than delay. It began to sound like strategy. For weeks, the space community waited for NASA to release the HiRISE images of 3I Atlas, but nothing came. Then, on October 10th, the answer arrived. Not from NASA, but from Washington. The US government had officially entered a shutdown. Budgets stalled, staff furloughed, and with them, all non-essential scientific operations. That included NASA's planetary imaging teams. Data could still be stored, but not processed, not released, not even reviewed. The HiRISE images of 3I Atlas were caught in the middle, frozen by bureaucracy, at the exact moment they could have made history. Officially, NASA explained that the data was secure and awaiting approval for release once operations resume. Unofficially, frustration began to spread among scientists and the public alike. To most, that reason sounded reasonable at first, but as days turned into weeks, the logic started to crack. NASA's automated systems continued to operate. Satellites sent back terabytes of data daily, all stored safely on redundant servers. Processing was slow, but not impossible. So why, asked many, were the 3I Atlas images given total blackout treatment? Why were even internal researchers unable to access the files? Inside the planetary science community, quiet messages hinted at rising tension. Some believed NASA was exercising extra caution, verifying what the data actually showed before releasing it to the world. Others argued this was an excuse, a way to buy time while higher-level discussions took place. After all, this was not just another comet or asteroid. This was a visitor from beyond our solar system, captured up close for the first time in history. Every pixel of that image could carry implications beyond science, political, military, even philosophical. But public patience was running out. Citizen scientists who had been analyzing China's openly released Tianwen-1 dataset began to question the American silence. Posts appeared on astronomy forums and independent research boards. If Beijing can share 302 frames, why can't NASA post one? The longer the delay grew, the harder it became to defend. The agency's silence was becoming louder than any statement it could make. NASA officials maintained a careful script. Press releases repeated that no images could be shared until government operations fully resume. Yet no one could specify when that would be, or why temporary authorization wasn't granted for a discovery of this magnitude. The shutdown was real, but but the total blackout seemed excessive, especially for an event that was supposed to unite humanity in curiosity, not divide it in doubt. By the end of October, whispers began to shift into public suspicion. On social media, users from different countries started tagging NASA posts with simple questions. Where are the images? What are you hiding? And though NASA never responded, its silence became the answer everyone feared. What began as a procedural delay had started to look like a policy of containment. As NASA remained silent, China acted. Just 3 days after 3I Atlas swept past Mars, the Tianwen-1 mission released its full 302-frame image sequence to the public. No filters, no embargo, no delay. For the first time ever, humanity saw an interstellar object captured from orbit around another world, and it came from Beijing, not Washington. Almost instantly, the data spread worldwide. European astronomers cleaned the noise, Japanese analysts tracked the object's trajectory, South American researchers modeled its spin using open code. In hours, what began as a Chinese release became a global collaboration. The Tianwen-1 dataset was imperfect, but it was enough to ignite discovery and to reveal one uncomfortable truth: transparency wins. The contrast couldn't be sharper. The nation once known for secrecy had shared everything. NASA, long the symbol of openness, had vanished behind technical silence. Scientists began to question what standard review procedures really meant when the rest of the world was already doing the science. Media outlets seized the narrative. Headlines read, "China opens the sky while NASA closes the door." Analysts called it the dawn of a new kind of space race, one built not on propulsion, but on perception. And in that race, the United States was losing. Public sentiment turned restless. Online forums filled with comparisons, data overlays, and frustration. Even veteran NASA supporters began to ask, why is China telling our story? The lack of access wasn't just a missed opportunity, it was a blow to credibility. By the end of that week, something had changed. The balance of trust in the global space community shifted. For the first time, the world's main source on an interstellar visitor wasn't NASA or the European Space Agency, it was China. The question was no longer just when NASA would speak, but whether the world would still be listening when it finally did. By mid-October, frustration had turned into public backlash. Lawmakers, journalists, and scientists began speaking out, demanding answers from NASA. What had started as curiosity about a missing dataset was now a question of accountability. The silence was no longer seen as procedural, it was political. Representative Ana Paulina Luna became one of the first voices in Congress to address the issue directly. In a public statement, she questioned why NASA had failed to release data of clear scientific interest, calling for an immediate review of the agency's communication protocols during the shutdown. Her words struck a chord. The story had escaped the domain of astronomy and entered government debate. Meanwhile, the scientific community itself was reaching a boiling point. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, known for his work on interstellar anomalies, published an open letter urging NASA to release the high-rise imagery, arguing that science does not wait for politics. His message echoed through universities, research centers, and science forums around the world. The phrase quickly became a rallying cry. Across social media, the movement gained traction. Hashtags like #ReleaseTheImages spread globally, echoed by citizen scientists, teachers, and even former NASA engineers. The public's patience was evaporating, replaced by a sense of betrayal. NASA's official statements, when they came at all, were cautious, formulaic, and increasingly out of step with the tone of the conversation. Inside the agency, insiders hinted at growing pressure too. Sources described internal debates. Some defended the delay as essential protocol, while others warned that continued silence would damage trust beyond repair. For the first time, leaks began to surface. Anonymous notes suggesting that the data was intact, potentially showing unexpected spectral features. None of it was verified, but every detail fueled the fire. By late October, NASA found itself cornered. The agency that had once symbolized open science was now portrayed as withholding the most significant space images of the decade. For lawmakers, it became a matter of national embarrassment. For scientists, it was a call to arms. And for the world watching from the outside, the question was changing. From, why hasn't NASA released the data, to what are they afraid of us seeing? As NASA's silence deepened, speculation filled the void. Online forums and research blogs started dissecting every clue, every leaked line of code, every reference to unexpected data signatures. Unconfirmed reports claimed the object showed unusually high nickel content, far beyond known interstellar compositions. Others suggested 3I Atlas emitted a faint electromagnetic pulse, not consistent with any natural body previously observed. NASA made no comment, which only hardened suspicions. The longer they withheld information, the louder the rumors grew. Some claimed that internal alerts from the Planetary Defense Coordination Office had been quietly triggered before the shutdown, protocols designed only for objects that could pose unknown risks. Officially, those alerts never existed. Scientists tried to anchor the discussion in reason. Anomalies are part of discovery, not evidence of anything extraordinary. But in the vacuum of facts, imagination took over. Grainy enhancements of China's Tianwen-1 frames began circulating online, with users claiming to see irregular shapes, even faint structured reflections. None of it was confirmed, Yet none of it could be disproved either, and in the silence, speculation became oxygen, and the mystery of 3I Atlas began to grow far beyond data alone. While rumors dominated headlines, scientists felt something deeper, lost. The high-rise images of 3I Atlas weren't just data, they were a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Never before had an interstellar object been photographed from orbit around another planet, under near-ideal lighting and geometry. Every hour that passed without access meant a delay in understanding something entirely foreign to our solar system. High-rise, capable of resolving details smaller than a meter on Mars, could have revealed whether 3I Atlas was a comet shedding dust, a metallic fragment, or something unseen before. Its instruments could have mapped texture, albedo, and rotation, giving clues to how the object formed in another star system. But until NASA reopened its image servers, that potential remained locked behind bureaucratic walls. Researchers worldwide tried everything, recreating simulations using China's lower resolution frames, modeling fragmentation patterns, comparing spectra from ground-based telescopes. But everyone knew the truth. Without high-rise, the science was incomplete. China's data offered the broad picture. NASA's could have provided the detail that made sense of it all. Some scientists voiced quiet anger. Others simply grew resigned. "We're not just losing time," one researcher wrote anonymously. "We're losing context. Interstellar visitors like this one appear once every few years, sometimes decades apart. When they pass, the window closes forever. There is no second chance." In a single delay, the balance of discovery had shifted. The United States still held the key, but refused to turn it. China had shown what transparency could look like. NASA had shown what silence could cost. And so the global scientific community waited, caught between wonder and frustration, asking the same question that echoed louder with each passing day. What are we missing while the images remain unseen? By early November, the silence surrounding NASA's data had become more than a single agency issue. It was a mirror for something larger. Across the scientific world, people began asking what this moment revealed about who truly owns discovery. If knowledge of the universe can be paused by politics, what else are we not seeing? China's release of the Tianwen-1 data wasn't just a technical success, it was a shift in narrative. It proved that openness can accelerate science faster than bureaucracy ever could. The global community had used those 302 frames to model trajectories, analyze reflectivity, and even simulate potential fragment dispersal pattern. What once required official institutions was now powered by cooperative, borderless science. Meanwhile, agencies in Europe, South America, and even private observatories began pledging to make their datasets more transparent. The Vera Rubin Observatory announced plans to publicly release interstellar detections in real time once it comes online in 2027. Atlas teams confirmed they were upgrading their alert systems to make deep space visitor tracking fully open to the public. A quiet revolution was unfolding, one rooted in access, not authority. For decades, NASA had been the gold standard for open research, but with 3I Atlas, that reputation cracked. It showed how even good intentions can buckle under institutional weight, and it raised a deeper, more uncomfortable reality. That information control, not capability, might be the new frontier of competition in space. Still, there was a growing sense of hope. Out of frustration came a community determined to change how science is shared. Citizen astronomers, programmers, and educators had already proven that discovery no longer depended on who sits in the control room. It depended on who's willing to look, to share, to trust. 3I Atlas may fade back into deep space, but its legacy remains. It forced humanity to confront a truth bigger than the object itself. The universe belongs to everyone who dares to ask questions, and no one should have the power to hide its answers. In the end, maybe the real story isn't about 3I Atlas at all. It's about what happens when knowledge is locked away and curiosity is forced to wait. The universe doesn't pause. It keeps moving, changing, revealing, and yet, here we are, still arguing over who gets to see the truth first. The silence around a single set of images became a reflection of something far bigger: control, perception, and the fragile trust that binds science to the public. Every unanswered question leaves a mark, and every delay costs us something we can never get back: time. If this moment teaches us anything, it's that transparency isn't a privilege, it's the foundation of discovery. Because the universe doesn't belong to any one nation, it belongs to all of us. Stay curious, because what comes next might change everything we think we know.